tell the 49ers, talk to them. Tell the 49ers how they can fix this Jimmy Garoppolo mess that they've created.
Oh, it's pretty simple. Get Jimmy Garoppolo off the roster before week 1. And the reason the 49ers need to do this, and they should be inclined to do this, is because in my mind, $50 million worth of cap space is a lot better than a third-round compensatory pick. That just might be me. I don't know if I'm crazy. But what the 49ers can do is they can either cut or trade Jimmy if they can find a trade partner. But if they can't trade him, they can cut him right before week 1, and then they can actually over his cap space to next season and double dip on the cap space that they would have already had with Jimmy Garoppolo. So to me, it's
what they should have done last year, right?
Exactly. It's what they should have done last year.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of teams have taken advantage of this, who just aren't spending a lot of money. Teams at the lower levels of the league, like the Jets and the Jaguars, teams like that. But if you have a team like the 49ers who are contenders or playoff contenders at minimum, and you add that kind of cap space to their offseason, it would be unlike any other team in recent modern history for an offseason. And then they would be able to actually go all in. And I think the reason that they would do it in the 2023 rather than this past offseason is pretty simple, because they can see Trey Lance, because they can see exactly where he's at if they do want to go all in with him. And if they are going to go all in with him, what kind of pieces do they want to put around him? Now, the Chiefs did a version of this with Patrick Mahomes after seeing one game of him, so they had a much higher level of confidence than the 49ers might. But from the team's perspective, yes, cutting Jimmy Garoppolo right before the start of the season is not a great look. And from a PR perspective, I know you're gonna rip them to shreds. People will rip them to shreds, and they'll get a lot of negative press. But ultimately, I think it's the best thing for their cap health moving forward.
Here's how they can sell it too. They can be like, look, we tried for the best, in the interest of the organization, we took this down to the very end, the deadline. Right. Jimmy sprung this surgery on us. We didn't know. It threw a curveball into everything. We tried our best. It didn't work. And you know what? No hard feelings. Jimmy Garoppolo did a lot for this franchise. At the end, he did what was best for him with this surgery. We're going to cut him so that, out of respect, he doesn't want to be here. We're going to cut him so he can find whatever he wants to, whatever's next for him in his career, in his life. We don't want to hold him hostage. I mean, they did that for Navarro Bowman. Just sell it as like, we out of respect for a great 49er, we don't want to have him as a backup. That's not fair. That's not right. Let's cut him and let him pick his own. I mean, you can sell it that way. It's like, look, it's not really our fault. He had the surgery, but we're going to do right by him. Okay.
Yeah, and
I'll make
John Lynch's
your fans will buy it.
Right.
I won't.
Well, and John Lynch was selling it that way over the owners' meetings. Remember specifically what he said? He's like, Jimmy Garoppolo, if he's not a starter on this team, he's a starter or he's good enough somewhere else.
False. He's going to be a backup this year.
But you're right.
Training camp or someone else. Right. Jimmy Garoppolo's going to be a backup this year. And you know what? He should be. He's not that good. I'm so sorry. He's not. He's a product of his coaching and his supporting cast. He can't read the defenses, can't read the field. He can't move. He can't stay healthy. He won't throw down the field. He won't throw outside the numbers. He is so overrated. And I guess it's the media or local fans that are so into his looks and his win-loss record. They just gaslight themselves and people who believe it. But the league, the verdict is out on this guy. It's out.
Yeah.
And you know what? I agree with how the league sees him. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, and the 49ers clearly have a much higher value for Jimmy Garoppolo than the rest of the league does.
Do they, though? They spent a decade's worth of first-round picks to replace him. That's why, they really send a mixed message on this. They're like, we're holding out until this was. Dude, you sent the Deshaun Watson package.
Oh, yeah.
For the third pick in the draft. You didn't even get the first 2 picks. You were like, I don't care. Whoever's available with the number 3 pick, we like as much as Deshaun Watson. There was a world where Trey Lance goes to the Jets and the Niners are like, oh, whatever. As long as it's not Jimmy, it's fine. That's how much so they know. Kyle knows. And he's starting to drop these hints too. Jimmy's great. He's a real pro, but you can't get a hold of him in the offseason. Oh, that's good. I like that. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Cut him. That's how you fix the mess. And I feel like, again, I don't understand what the point is of waiting. Like, oh, well, you can't cut him now because he can't pass a physical. You'd have to give him $7.5 million to go away. Give him $7.5 million to go away. That's not my money.
I was going to say,
Grant,
Grant,
the money back on the salary cap if he signs somewhere else.
Exactly. And that's the thing with that $7.5 million injury guarantee. They get that money back as long as Jimmy Garoppolo is on a roster.
Yes.
And also, I want to dispel one other rumor before we move on, which is that somehow there are some people who will tell you, no, they're just waiting to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo until they can re-up Deebo Samuel and Nick Bosa. That's when they're going to use that cap space.
Yeah.
None of those people are familiar with how the 49ers structure contracts, because every single time they've extended a player from his rookie deal, the first year number is actually lower than it was initially scheduled to be, or it's the same. So they're not saving any money. All they do with those players, in fact, what they do
cap numbers are not going up this year. It's going to go up in 2 years.
Yeah. Well, they always push money towards the end of contracts with these guys. So the idea that somehow they're going to create this cap space with Jimmy and then spend it all on Deebo Samuel and Nick Bosa is just false.
They don't front load deals. They don't. No. I still think that's a big reason why DeForest Buckner is not here. No one really explained it. Buckner said he was willing to meet him in the middle, and the Niners didn't even discuss. But I think we saw Buckner had a front-loaded deal with Indianapolis. The Niners don't do that. Do they do that? I don't. They did it with Jimmy.
They did it with Jimmy
in 2018. But that's because they knew they had all this cap space. It was like a particular quirk in their roster building because they started over in 2017. But they don't do that. They don't. So that's a quick fix. We fixed it. You're welcome. John Lynch. Scotty Dippin says, no way you can put Jimmy Garoppolo on the bench regardless of what happens in this competition, quote unquote. If he is on the team, he will start. If Trey Lance outplays Jimmy Garoppolo, then Kyle Shanahan won't get pushed back when he brings in Trey Lance for his packages. Here's the thing. With the Niners, here's the thing, okay? So Jimmy should never step foot on the Niners practice field ever again. Ever. He should never throw another pass because – look, we already know how he does business now. He had surgery on what the Niners think is not something that required surgery. They're like, look, he could have not had this. He didn't tell us about this. This is not a serious. So what could happen is has a quarterback competition, plays in a couple preseason games, to compete. Word gets around, he's going to lose. And the Niners are going to cut him and slash his salary. You know what he could do? Oh, shit. My thumb hurts. I re-aggravated my thumb. And, I could have had surgery in the offseason, but I didn't. But technically, I could. It's still messed up. So now I'm having surgery. And now I'm getting $27 million. And now I'm not even your backup quarterback. I'm on IR. So it's you and it's Lance and Sudfeld and me in the training room making $27 million. How does that sound to you? You tried to play me, but no. You played yourself. Checkmate. I'm just saying it could go that direction. Why do you think it wouldn't? He already showed you what he's going to do. Him and Don Yee.
I think it's more likely that happens than he gets traded. I can tell you that.
Should never step foot on a practice field again because all of a sudden, oh, my thumb, my back, my thumb and my back. They both hurt. Nah, don't let him do that. He will do what's best for him.
Didn't he also have the calf last season? So, oh my God,
He's an injury waiting to happen. The Niners are hoping, maybe a quarterback gets hurt and we can trade. If a quarterback gets hurt in preseason or training camp, my money's on Jimmy. He is the odds-on favorite. If you could bet on this in Vegas, it would be like, even making money betting on Jimmy.
It'd be minus 10,000. Yeah,
exactly.
It would just be ridiculous.